All right, hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. We're going to be focusing on the CompTIA A+ exam today, and especially for all of you students out there, we went through a ton of training guides, articles, and even some stories from people who have actually aced this exam. And we're trying to give you the best possible advice.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, actually. People think that you just have to cram a bunch of facts to pass these exams, but it's really not that. You need a much more focused approach to how you learn.
So what does that actually mean?
Well, we found one thing that was super important, and it was making sure that you tackle all the study components. And when I say all, I mean labs, practice tests, simulations, you name it.
So let's break that down a little bit, starting with hands-on labs. Why are they so important?
I mean, think about it. You could read about how to build a PC, but is that really going to stick with you? You need to actually build a PC to really understand what's going on, and labs give you that muscle memory.
It's kind of like riding a bike. You can read all the manuals you want, but until you actually get on and start wobbling around, you don't really get it.
Exactly. And, we even came across a story about one student who didn't have any technical background at all, and they were really struggling with the theoretical stuff, and then they started using these hands-on labs from UCertify, and everything just clicked. It just made sense.
So they went from abstract theory to tangible skills.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's move on to practice exams. I used to hate practice exams. I always felt like I was being judged every time I took one. But they're super important, right?
They are. And, they do help you get comfortable with the format of the exam. But what's really valuable about them is that they expose your weaknesses. So every time you get an answer wrong, it's like a giant neon sign flashing, "Hey, study this!"
So it's more of a diagnostic tool.
Exactly. So it's not about beating yourself up over a low score. It's about, okay, how can I use this information to refine my study plan and make sure that I'm really learning this material?
Okay, I like that. Now, what about the idea that you take practice tests over and over again? Does that actually help? Does that boost your knowledge retention?
Absolutely. The more times you take those tests, the more you're interacting with that material, the better you're going to remember it.
And not only remember it, but then also just be more familiar with the test itself.
Exactly. And, the benchmark that we saw come up over and over again, you really want to aim to be scoring 85% or higher on those practice exams. And if you're consistently hitting that mark, that's a pretty good indicator that you're ready for the real deal.
85%. Okay, got it. Now, we've talked labs and practice tests. What about simulations and workbooks? Where do those fit in?
I like to think of those as your active learning power-ups. So simulations, they drop you right into these exam-like scenarios where you can apply your knowledge without any real-world consequences. And then workbooks, they're like those structured drills that reinforce key concepts through exercises and activities. It's like hitting the gym for your brain. Different exercises are going to target different areas, and it really helps you build a well-rounded skill set.
So it's all about going beyond passive reading and actually doing something with the information.
Absolutely. One of our sources actually mentioned Mike Meyer's A+ Lab Manual, which has over 140 labs in it. It's a boot camp for real-world problem solving.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here. Labs, practice tests, simulations, workbooks, it's like a multi-pronged attack on this material. Each element reinforces the others.
Exactly. And if you remember that statistic that we talked about earlier, those students who use all of these components have significantly higher passing rates than those who skip some. So you really want to immerse yourself in this material. The more confident you are come exam day, the better you're going to do.
Makes perfect sense. You're walking into that exam like a tech superhero.
Yeah.
All right, now speaking of real-world experience, is there anything that you can do in the real world that will help you on this exam? I know it's all about the computer world, but can real-world stuff help you?
Oh, absolutely. We found some really cool stories from successful A+ candidates, and there are some awesome takeaways that you can implement.
Let's hear them. Give us some.
Okay, the one thing that kept coming up was this idea of hands-on practice. Even if you already have some technical knowledge, those labs and that real-world tinkering just solidify your understanding in a way that nothing else can.
So you might have built a PC before, but the A+ really demands a very specific type of knowledge and troubleshooting skills.
Exactly. Another takeaway was those practice exams. One student talked about how they just kept taking them until they could consistently score above 90%. Now that is dedication.
That's awesome, but I gotta be honest, not everyone's path is gonna be a straight line to success.
You are absolutely right. In fact, we came across this story about Vernon Clifton, who is a cybersecurity analyst. He actually failed his first A+ exam attempt.
Oh no, what happened? Did he just underestimate the exam?
He admitted to just not really preparing thoroughly enough. He had a tech degree, but didn't spend the time and effort to do all the comprehensive practice.
So even if you think you know the material, engaging with all those study components is essential. No cutting corners.
Exactly. But you know what? what? He actually used that as fuel. He doubled down on his efforts, embraced all the materials, and guess what? He ended up passing with flying colors on his second attempt.
That's great. What a great reminder that setbacks are just part of the process.
They are.
And what matters is how you analyze those mistakes and adjust your approach. Now, speaking of the exam itself, I know it can be a very high-pressure environment. Did any of the students talk about what that pressure was like?
Oh, absolutely. You know, they mentioned the stress, the time crunch, those unexpected questions that just kind of come out of nowhere. And they really emphasized how broad and deep preparation is, like your armor against all of that. The more comfortable you are with the material from every angle, the better you'll handle it.
It's not just about memorizing the answers, it's about understanding the concepts so well that you can apply them in any situation.
Exactly. One candidate even talked about encountering a few questions that were completely unfamiliar, but because they had such a strong foundation, they were able to deduce the answers just based on their understanding.
Wow, that's impressive. So we've talked about how important it is to do everything, but let's be real. Students are juggling a lot. What if you are just truly pressed for time? Can you skip certain components and still had a decent shot at passing?
You know, it's kind of wild how those exam objectives are like your roadmap, you know? They're like, here's how you build up all the knowledge you need.
Yeah, it's true. It's like having that GPS. It keeps you on track. No more getting lost in all that, random IT stuff.
Totally. And that actually brings up a good point. Everyone's journey to this A+ certification, it's going to be different. Some folks have a lot of experience already. Some are just natural, quick learners. Some have more time to actually study. It's finding what works best for you, right?
Absolutely. Your own adventure, like those choose your own adventure books. No one right way.
Exactly. And that makes me think of a question we see all the time. Can you skip parts of studying and still pass? Like, oh, I'm good with tech, I can skip networking. Or I've built a PC, no need for those labs.
Yeah, it's tempting for sure, especially when you're, short on time. But is it smart?
Well, you could pass, but it's a big risk. Especially if you're still building those basic IT skills. The A+ exam, it covers a lot,
Yeah, even if you're super strong in one area, you got to review it all, right? You never know what they'll ask.
That's it. And remember those performance-based questions. Those often mix things up, different topics. Got to have that broad understanding.
Okay, you've sold me. Got to be thorough. But what if a student just hits a wall with something? Just can't get it.
Few things you can try. Don't be afraid to go back to basics, like struggling with networking. Maybe you need to brush up on IP addresses, those fundamentals. Like building a house, you need a good foundation first.
Taking a step back can help you move forward, kind of.
Exactly. Also, break those big, tough topics into smaller bits. Don't tackle it all at once.
Like a puzzle, right? Edges first, then you fill it in.
Yeah. And if just reading isn't working, switch it up. Videos, podcasts, get your hands dirty. Gotta find what makes your brain happy.
Find that groove.
Exactly. And if you're really stuck, ask for help. Instructor, study group, online forums. There are so many people out there who are willing to help.
True, the online world is amazing for that. Okay, so we've talked prep, skipping stuff, tough topics, but let's get to game day, exam day. How do you get ready for that?
It can be nerve-wracking, that's for sure. Gotta set yourself up right. Number 1, sleep. Get a good night's rest before the exam.
No cramming all night, huh?
Nope, your brain needs that rest to work properly.
Okay, sleep is on the list. What else?
Don't forget breakfast. Good nutritious meal. You don't want your stomach rumbling during the test.
Brain food. Power up.
And stay hydrated. Water bottle at the testing center. Sip throughout. Dehydration can really mess with your focus.
Hydration, check. Anything else for a good exam environment?
Small thing, but wear comfy clothes. You want to be able to focus, not fidgeting because your jeans are too tight.
Comfort over fashion that day.
Absolutely. And give yourself time. Get to the testing center early. Avoid that rush. Get settled. Take a few deep breaths.
No need to add stress, right? So sleep, food, water, clothes, arrival. Any other rituals before you go in?
I like to do a quick review, keynotes, flashcards, whatever. Get the brain warmed up.
Like the coach's pep talk before the game.
Exactly. And if you're nervous, try some relaxation techniques, deep breaths, visualize success, maybe some calming music, whatever works for you.
Find that zen. Okay, so what about the exam itself? Format, questions, what's it like?
The A+ is known for being thorough and tough. Lots of question types. Multiple choice, sure, but also performance-based. You actually do stuff, show your skills.
Not just knowing, but doing, like a real IT pro.
Exactly. And those performance-based ones, they can be tricky. Critical thinking, problem solving, on the spot.
Like a curveball, gotta adjust your swing.
Love that. So how do you train for those curveballs?
Yeah, what's the practice routine?
Labs and simulations are key. The more you do in a safe environment, the better you'll be when it's the real deal.
Gotta get hands-on, not just read about it.
That's it. And tip for the exam, pay attention to how questions are worded. They're specific. Make sure you get what they're really asking.
Don't jump to conclusions.
Right, and if unsure, ask the proctor. Better safe than sorry.
Good point. So format, questions, time management. Got a time limit, got to pace yourself. Tips for that.
Before answering anything, quickly scan the whole exam, get a feel for it.
Like scouted the terrain before you charge in.
Exactly. Then hit the questions you're most sure of, build up some wins early on.
Those are the confidence boosters.
Yes. And if you get stuck, don't dwell. Mark it, come back later if there's time.
Don't let one question derail you.
Right. And remember, this exam is meant to be challenging. Don't freak out if you don't know everything. Focus on what you do know and do it well.
Stay calm, use what you've learned.
Exactly. If stress hits, pause, deep breaths, recenter yourself. You got this.
Mindset is key. Okay, pre-exam, the exam itself. What about after? Results and hopefully celebration.
Usually you get results right there on the screen. And if you passed, congratulations, you earned it. Doors are open to awesome IT careers.
Confetti time. But what if you don't pass the first try? End of the world.
No way. It's disappointing, sure, but doesn't mean you're not good. It means adjust your approach, come back stronger.
Learning experience, not failure. Figure out what to work on, come back better.
Exactly. Look at the results, see where you need to focus, and make a new plan.
Turn that setback into a comeback story.
You got it. And remember, tons of resources out there to help. Online communities, study groups, tutoring. Don't be afraid to reach out.
Support system is everything. Okay, so we keep coming back to hands-on experience. So crucial, but also hard to get sometimes.
Let's dig into that more. It's where theory becomes doing. But yeah, not always easy if you don't have a whole lab set up.
So how do you get that experience without spending a ton of money?
Virtual labs are amazing for this. Software like VirtualBox, VMware, you create virtual computers on your own PC. Try different operating systems, software, network setups, all that.
Like having a whole IT world inside your computer.
Exactly, and way cheaper than buying all the real hardware. Plus, you can just delete a virtual machine if you mess it up. No harm done to your actual computer.
Perfect for budget-minded techies. Any tips for making a really good virtual lab?
Definitely. 1, make sure your computer to handle it. Running those virtual machines takes RAM and processing power. You don't want it crashing all the time.
Try to check those specs first. Yep.
2, plan it out. What operating systems, software, what do you want to try? Like a blueprint for your virtual world.
Build your own little IT kingdom.
Totally. Once you've got a plan, download the stuff you need, set it all up. It's a blast.
And those skills will definitely help on the A+ and beyond.
Absolutely. Bridges that gap between knowing and doing.
So important. Okay, so virtual labs are great, but what about real world?
Volunteering is fantastic for that. Tons of places, schools, nonprofits, small businesses, they all need IT help. Win-win, you get experience, they get support.
Like a superhero origin story. Hone your skills, save the day.
I love it. And you get to work on real systems, solve real problems. So valuable.
Real world internship, but you're also helping people.
Exactly. Plus, networking. You meet people, make connections, could lead to jobs.
Build that network, open doors.
Right. Now, some folks might think, I'm not good enough yet to volunteer. Not true. Everyone starts somewhere. Most places are happy to train you if you're willing to learn.
Supportive environment, build skills and confidence.
Totally. Start small, help with setup, basic troubleshooting, whatever.
Baby steps, build up as you go.
Yep. Don't let fear hold you back. Okay, we've got virtual labs, volunteering. What about things you do just for you?
Personal project, I love that idea. Sometimes the best learning is when you're passionate about something.
Absolutely. Great way to explore different IT stuff, try new tech, build a portfolio to show off to employers later.
Unleash your inner tech wizard.
Exactly. Build a website, make an app, design a game, even build your own computer from scratch. The sky's the limit.
Your own tech playground.
You're in control. Pick the project, the tools, the timeline, everything. Learn at your own pace, explore what excites you.
Designing your own IT curriculum.
Totally. And don't be afraid to share it. Put it online, join hackathons, present at meetups.
Get feedback, connect with others, show off what you can do.
It's all about that. And remember, personal projects don't have to be perfect. The point is to learn, push yourself, have fun.
Mistakes are how you learn. Okay, so we've talked about all these ways to get hands-on, but what about cost? Not everyone can afford fancy equipment or software.
That's real, especially for students. But you don't need to be rich to learn. So many free or cheap resources out there.
Gotta be resourceful, get creative.
Exactly, like used computers, parts online, threat stores, so much cheaper than buying new. Treasure hunt for techies.
And like you said earlier, virtual machines are a game changer. No need to buy extra hardware. Plus, tons of free operating systems and software online. Perfect for learning. Research, find those deals.
Yes. Don't let money stop you from pursuing your IT dreams. Always a way to make it work.
Awesome. Okay, we've touched on networking, but it's so important. Let's dig deeper.
It often gets overlooked, but it's huge. Especially in IT, things change so fast.
So it's not just what you know, but who you know.
It's not quite like that. It's more about building real relationships. Sharing what you know, connecting with others, it opens so many doors.
Communities support learning from each other.
Exactly. And you find out about opportunities you'd never know about otherwise. Jobs, mentors, insights, even just feeling like you belong in the tech world.
Expand your circle, open up possibilities.
Right, and so many ways to do it, online and in person. Events, online groups, meetups, even just connecting with people on LinkedIn. Find what feels right for you.
No need to be a super social butterfly if that's not you.
Totally. And remember, it's a two-way street, not just taking but giving too. Share what you know, help others, be part of the community.
Give and take, support each other.
Exactly. The more you give, the more you get back. It's about those genuine connections.
Okay, all great advice. But for some folks, especially introverts, networking can be scary. Any tips for them?
Introverts are awesome, and they can network too. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room. Online networking can be great for that. Join communities, forums, connect on LinkedIn. Less pressure.
Dip your toes in at your own pace.
Exactly. And if you do go to in-person stuff, try smaller events, meetups, workshops focused on specific topics. Easier to chat with people.
Quality over quantity.
Yes. And remember, it's a skill. It takes time to get good at it. Just keep trying. Be yourself. You'll find your groove.
Progress, not perfection.
You got it. And even without a formal mentor, you can still learn from so many people online. Blogs, podcasts, social media, like having a virtual mentor team.
So many resources out there. Okay, so we've got networking, but what about mentorship, one-on-one?
Mentorship is amazing, like having someone guide you through the IT world.
Experienced guide helps you avoid the pitfalls.
Exactly. They've been there, done that, can give advice, share their stories, connect you with people, and just be supportive.
So how do you actually find a mentor? Do you just walk up to someone and ask?
Usually takes a little more than that. First, what do you want from this relationship? Goals, challenges, what excites you in it?
Be clear about what you're looking for.
Exactly. Then think, who do I admire? In the industry, people you've met, even friends or family with IT careers.
Tap your network or build it up.
Right, and don't be afraid to reach out to people you admire, even if you don't know them well. Many IT folks love to help, share what they've learned.
Even a good email or LinkedIn message can start something.
Absolutely. Be clear about your goals, what you admire about them, why you're reaching out. Show you're motivated, eager to learn.
Not just asking for favors, but showing your own passion.
Yes, and remember, it's a two-way street. Give back too. Your time, skills, enthusiasm, willingness to learn.
Mutual respect, shared goals.
Exactly. And it might take time to find the right fit. Don't get discouraged. It's a journey.
Be open, nurture those connections. The right mentor will come along.
Exactly. And again, even without a formal mentor, there's so much online. Blogs, podcasts, social media, like having a virtual mentor team.
So many resources, so little time. Okay, we've talked a lot about amazing opportunities. But for some students, especially those from underrepresented groups, IT can feel intimidating.
It's true, and it's important to acknowledge that IT hasn't always been welcoming to everyone. We're working on it, but we've got a way to go. But the good news is things are changing. More resources and support than ever before for women, minorities, folks from non-traditional backgrounds. If you're passionate about it, we want you here.
So it's not hopeless, things are getting better.
Definitely. And if you're from an underrepresented group, remember, you're not alone. So many amazing people from diverse backgrounds have paved the way and are working to make the industry more inclusive.
Trailblazers, mentors, role models.
Absolutely. And tons of organizations and initiatives focused on diversity and inclusion. Scholarships, mentorship, groups for women in tech, minorities in STEM, LGBTQ folks in IT, you name it.
So much support out there.
Exactly. Find those resources, connect with people who get it. Finding your tribe is powerful.
Love that. So practical steps for success, especially for those from underrepresented groups. Building a strong portfolio, we talked about that earlier.
A portfolio shows off your skills to employers no matter who you are, but it can be extra valuable for folks who might face bias.
Let your work speak for itself. Prove what you can do.
Exactly. Personal projects, volunteer work, school stuff, it all counts. Show your accomplishments in a way that grabs attention.
Package your talent, make it undeniable.
Right. Also, get involved in professional groups, go to events, networking, building connections, learning about different IT careers, seeing different company cultures.
Open those doors, find your place.
Exactly. And don't hesitate to find mentors, role models, people who can guide you, support you, been there, done that.
Find your champions.
Yes. And remember, IT is always changing, growing. Huge demand for skilled people. Don't let anything hold you back. The future of IT is diverse, inclusive, full of opportunity. It's yours for the taking.
Such an inspiring message. Okay, we've talked diversity, networking, mentorship, so much good stuff. But now let's look ahead. What's coming next in IT?
It's a thrilling time, so many possibilities. Technology never stands still, and the jobs change right along with it. Exciting time to be getting into this field.
So what are some of the big things to watch out for? What skills should students focus on for those future jobs?
Cloud computing is huge. It's just getting bigger. More and more companies are putting their stuff in the cloud, so they need people who know how to manage it.
Cloud skills are golden.
Absolutely. Cloud architects, engineers, security, that's where it's at. And cybersecurity, can't forget that. The more connection we are, the more vulnerable we are. We need people to protect all that data, keep systems safe from attacks.
Cybersecurity is the future.
It is. Analysts, ethical hackers, incident responders, those are the heroes we need. And then there's automation and AI. Companies are using them to streamline things, do things more efficiently. AI can analyze massive amounts of data, make predictions, even create new products and services.
So the future of IT is working smarter, not harder. Using tech to do more, be more innovative.
Exactly, and that means new and exciting jobs. Data scientists, AI engineers, machine learning specialists, robotics engineers, so much cool stuff.
IT playground, so much is changing, so many opportunities, but it can be overwhelming. Any advice for those just starting out, feeling a bit lost?
I get it, it's a lot, but the good news is the basics of IT are still the foundation. Networking, operating systems, hardware, software, all that, those are like the roots of a tree. You need them to grow strong.
Master the fundamentals, then branch out.
Exactly. Once you have those, you can specialize. Cloud computing, cybersecurity, whatever calls to you. Follow your curiosity, build those skills, and you'll be in demand.
Find that sweet spot where your skills meet your passions and what the market needs.
You got it. And one more thing, IT is all about learning constantly. Technology never stops, so you can't either. Stay curious, keep learning. It's a lifelong journey.
Always be growing.
Yes, and tons of ways to do that. Online courses, webinars, conferences, meetups, online communities. Find what works for you.
Become that lifelong learner.
Absolutely. Now, I know some people are thinking, will robots take my job? It's a valid question. Automation, AI, it's changing things fast.
Big concern these days. How can students make sure they're learning skills that'll still be useful in the future?
That's a great question. I don't think robots are taking over just yet. The key is to focus on skills that robots can't do well. Things that are uniquely human.
Don't compete with robots, complement them, find those human strengths.
Exactly. And what are some of those? Creativity, problem solving, critical thinking, communication, collaboration, emotional intelligence, adaptability. These are things that robots struggle with, and they're super valuable in IT.
So it's not just the tech skills, but those soft skills that make us human and help us connect with each other.
Right. Companies are realizing that they need people who can not only manage tech, but also lead teams, communicate, build relationships, handle tricky situations.
Tech-savvy people person.
Exactly. Blend those skills and you'll thrive in IT. And speaking of thriving, let's talk work-life balance. So important, but can be hard to achieve, especially in IT.
Everyone wants it, but it feels like a unicorn sometimes. Lines get blurred between work and life.
True, it's a challenge, but it's vital for your well-being, mental and physical health, even your long-term success. Find that balance, work hard, but also have a life outside of work.
How do you do that, though? It's easy to say, harder to actually live it.
No easy answers, it's different for everyone. But being intentional about boundaries is huge. Protect your time. Make conscious choices about what you spend your energy on.
Be the boss of your own time.
Yes, and be realistic. You can't do everything. You don't have to be perfect. Delegate, ask for help, take care of yourself.
Support system, let go of control, prioritize you.
Exactly. Breaks, disconnecting from tech, doing things you love, these are essential, not luxuries. When you take care of yourself, you actually work better in the long run.
Sustainable pace, not burning out.
Exactly. And when you're happy outside of work, you bring that energy and focus to work, everyone wins.
It all feeds into each other. Okay, we've talked balance, self-care, support. Before we wrap up, what's the best advice you give a student just starting their IT journey?
Good question. I'd say embrace curiosity, persistence, and kindness. Let those be your guide.
Okay, break that down. Curiosity first. Why is that so important in IT?
This industry is all about exploring, figuring things out, making new stuff. Never lose that thirst for knowledge. Ask questions, tinker, experiment. Never stop learning. If you're not curious, you're not growing.
Stay hungry, stay open to new things.
Yes. And persistence, that's number 2. IT is hard sometimes. You'll hit roadblocks, feel discouraged, but don't give up. Believe in yourself, get back up, keep going.
Turn those challenges into fuel.
Exactly. And lastly, kindness. Might seem weird, but trust me, the IT world is a community. Be good to each other, help each other, celebrate wins, work together. Makes the whole journey better.
Build each other up, create a positive space.
Exactly. Curiosity, persistence, kindness. If you bring those, you'll not only have a great career, but you'll make the world a better place too.
What a great message. Okay, folks, that wraps up our deep dive on the CompTIA A+ exam. We covered a ton today. Prep, hands-on experience, networking, mentorship, balance, everything.
We did. We've explored the good, the bad, the exciting stuff. Now you've got the knowledge, the tools, the mindset to not just pass the exam, but to build an amazing career in IT.
Remember, this is just the beginning. I never stop, so keep learning, exploring, stay curious.
And believe in yourself. You got this. We're rooting for you.
That's a wrap. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to see all the awesome things you do in the tech world. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing those tech dreams.
Yeah, they're realizing those soft skills are key. You need people who can handle the tech and the people side of things.
The whole package. Okay, so we've talked about thriving in IT, but let's be real, it can be demanding. Work-life balance, got to talk about that.
It's a big one, definitely. Everyone wants it, but it's tricky, especially in IT, where work can kind of bleed into your personal life.
That always-on feeling, so how do you actually make it happen, that balance?
Knowing the answers, it's a personal journey. But being intentional about setting boundaries is huge. Protect your time, make conscious choices about where your energy goes.
Be the gatekeeper of your own time.
Exactly. And be realistic. You're not superhuman. You can't do it all. It's okay to delegate, ask for help, and most importantly, take care of yourself.
Build a support system, let go of the need to control everything, and realize that self-care isn't selfish, it's essential.
You got it. Breaks, disconnecting from tech, doing things that bring you joy, those aren't rewards, they're necessities. When you take care of yourself, you actually work better.
Sustainable pace, not burnout. Okay, so we've talked balance, self-care, support. Before we wrap this whole deep dive up, what's the one piece of advice you'd give a student just starting their IT journey?
That's a tough one. But I'd say this: embrace curiosity, persistence, and kindness. Those three things will take you far.
Okay, unpack that a little. Curiosity first. What do you mean?
It is all about exploring, figuring things out, how things work, making new things. Never lose that desire to learn. Ask questions, tinker, experiment. Never stop learning. If you're not curious, you're not growing.
Always be asking why, how, what if.
Exactly. And persistence, that's just as important. IT can be tough, you'll hit walls, feel like giving up. But don't. Believe in yourself, get back up, keep pushing forward.
Turn those setbacks into fuel.
Exactly. And lastly, kindness. Might seem odd in a tech conversation, but trust me, it matters. The IT world, it's a community. Be good to each other, help each other out, celebrate wins together. Makes the whole journey better for everyone.
Create a positive, supportive space. Lift each other up.
Absolutely. Curiosity, persistence, kindness, those three things, you'll not only have a great career, you'll make the world a little better too.
What a fantastic message to end on. All right, folks, that is a wrap on our CompTIA A+ deep dive. We went through a ton of information today. From prepping for the exam, getting that hands-on experience, the importance of networking and mentorship, even finding that work-life balance.
So much good stuff. And we've given you the tools, the knowledge, the mindset to not only ace that A+ exam, but to build an awesome career in IT. It's an amazing field to be in, always changing, always challenging.
Remember, this is just the start. Keep that curiosity alive, never stop learning, never stop exploring.
And believe in yourself. You got this. We're cheering you on.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing those tech dreams.